welcome. This is so exciting. What a wonderful audience. I look around, almost every chair is filled. And it's wonderful to be in this theater. We have the first man, Adam, who is the son of one of our singers, who is married to our resident, who is married to our keynote speaker in screenwriting, J.D. Payne. And so that was a great deal. We got 2 for 1. I'm very thankful. 3, really. Very gifted people. Yeah, that's right. Well, we start. They don't call it development for nothing. I'm really grateful to see all of you here. Why are we having a new opera workshop, world premiere, in the middle of a writers' conference? I don't know of any other writers' conferences that do this. In fact, I don't know of any. I'm going to talk about that for a few minutes, and then I'm going to introduce Ernie Hilbert to talk a little bit more about this specific opera. And I'm going to thank a lot of people first, and then I'm going to explain what we're doing. And that thanking will get at the heart of why we're here. It's a lot of work to put together an opera. As you can see here, we have 7 musicians, 3 singers, and a music director, all of whom are extraordinarily gifted. How did this happen? Well, when we started to put together this program, especially the poetry concentration, which I direct in addition to directing the entire the graduate program in creative writing, which was founded by Mark Todd, who just disappeared behind that curtain. He created this program, and he's also the conference coordinator for Writing the Rockies. When we started to put this together, and Mark came to me and said, write a poetry curriculum, I said, I want to write the best poetry curriculum in the world. And he said, we don't have any money. I said, that's okay. It's poetry. There isn't any money anywhere near it. And so we went ahead and did what we wanted to do. And among many other things, what we wanted to do was make sure that we had a course on poetry and music. And that happens during our second summer intensive. This is a low residency program, so students come they attend for 3 years during the regular year, but we do that online with really powerful video conferencing now. And then in the summers they come for 2 weeks in the middle of July, and it ends with this big conference that you're all now part of, where we present this work. And so I went to Ernie Hilbert and I said, Ernie, you and I both love poetry and music, and Ernie is an incredibly gifted librettist whose works have been produced all over the country now. In addition to being a very fine poet and a critic and a teacher and holding a doctorate from Oxford, and being one of the preeminent rare book doers in America, and general, all-around good guy. And he said, how about a course on the writing of libretti? And I said, that sounds great. And we put together a big stack of books, and Ernie wrote the curriculum for this course. And then what happened was the students started graduating, and lo and behold, they started taking their libretti and finding composers. And the first one was Laura Stuckey. Laura, are you here? Laura's was premiered last year, The Audubon Dream, and it went extremely well. Music by Karen Peace. Right. And then this year we have our libretto by Susan Spear, who's right here. Music by Jerome Malek, who is right here. And of course, then they gave it to me and they said, hey, here's this music, and how about an opera? And I said, okay. And I started digging around, and I called almost everyone I know. It took a full year to assemble all of this. And I'm very, very grateful to everyone in this orchestra. I simply want to, we're very grateful to Central City Opera, for example, and Emily Murdoch, who's their director of outreach, with whom we connected last year. And there are several singers with us from Central City, the part of Samira being played by Tracy Kaufman. And Rachel is playing the part of Amina, and you'll hear more about that. The musicians. First violin, Matt Lewinsky. Second violin, Sean Blair. Viola, Nicholas Yee. Cello, Kira Fulton. Flute, Deirdre Patescu. Guitar, Adam Dewar. And Jane Ludwig. And then our music director, Ben McKenna, who is also the music director of Opera Memphis, who I've known for a number of years and who literally came for a song. And he's going to get them to sing, but he's not going to sing. Yeah, although he knows a lot about singing. You know, when I look at this orchestra, and I look at the people involved here, our production crew, Alan Mortis, and Scott Little, the people who helped to bring this together, you can begin to see what a long process this is, from the creation of a curriculum to the creation of a syllabus to having a gifted teacher to having graduates who write libretti who then find composers who then enable us to work together to find an orchestra and to find singers. This is a big process, folks, but it's very important because opera is the queen of the arts. I've always felt this way. I play music and I write poetry, but I actually haven't written libretto. But ever since I first played second bassoon when I was about 15 or 16 years old in Nozze di Figaro, and was entranced by it, I've always felt this way, which is why I then got involved in starting the Crescent Butte Music Festival, which is built around opera. And I do want to recognize the chair of the board, Kathy King, who is here from the music festival. There she is. It brings together everything. Well, that's why it's called opera. Works, right? So you have drama, you have music, you have singing, you have narrative, you have poetry. Obviously, you have music. If this were a little bigger, we'd have ballet dancers, but the stage is a bit small. You can have spectacle to the eye. You have a tremendous amount going on, and that's what we do in our programs. We bring a lot of these arts together. This conference and our program are about creating conversations like that. And if you look here, you see great singers from Central City. You have a music director from Memphis Opera. You have locals like Lane Ludwig and Deirdre Frattesco, who used to teach at Western State. You have 3 musicians from the Crescent Butte Music Festival. It's a thrill. I'm very grateful to you all for being here. We're going to play this music, and then we're going to have a conversation afterwards with the musicians and the artists, where it'll be a symposium and a conversation. Thank you for coming out and supporting the arts, for supporting Western, for supporting local musicians and visiting musicians, for supporting our program. And now it's my privilege to introduce Ernie Hilbert to talk a little bit. Ernie, I've told you about him. He's a very gifted poet. He wrote the curriculum for the course that produced this libretto, and he taught that course. A gifted man in many ways. Ernie, it's all yours.
David promised me he would keep his remarks brief. He's already covered so much I was going to say. Thank you. I want to say, he's constantly thanking everyone, and I want to thank Dr. Rothman, because this really is remarkable. He's always getting rounds of applause for everyone else, and I just want to say thank you, David. It really is remarkable that we're doing this. So just a few words. Opera is strange. It always has been. From its earliest days, it was an attempt to revive what its practitioners believed were the ancient Greek models described by Aristotle in his Poetics and elsewhere of drama, which was partly sung, you have chorus, you have dancing. And it is a universe that is strange because it is a place where everything exists in music. Music not only suffuses everything, it is the very being of it. So the characters and the words and the emotions, the drama and the story are all in music. It is a very strange thing if you think about it. And it is a living art form. It struggles. It probably, no one would disagree that its summit was surely sort of Mozart through to Puccini, maybe a little bit later. But it is a living art form. It is perhaps the most collaborative of arts. You just heard this catalog of the people involved, and this is a small workshop production. Aside from a Hollywood film, it's rare to find any work of art where you have hundreds of people involved, doing an enormous variety of things, from coordinating fights so that people don't stab each other with their swords, and costuming, and continuity, and all of these things. So, I've always believed that the heart of a good opera is obviously not just the music, it begins with the libretto and the story and the characters. That's the core of it, and the DNA of it, what it grows out of to be when it grows up, really starts with the words on the page. So we talk about the history of opera in the course. This is the poetry concentration students. It's their last year, and they are tasked with writing a one-act opera libretto, which can later be adapted or expanded. The two former students of mine who have had theirs performed or about to be performed expanded theirs quite dramatically from what they really began with. And so, you know, I have to tell you that I am so inspired to see that their work has come together and that so many people have brought talent to the table here to make this come to life. And this is the sort of heart, as he says, the queen of the arts. It brings everything together. And there's nothing quite so moving as that moment when you really just get the heart of the story in music. So a few more words. She started with a story, Susan Spear started with a story. She wanted to do something with the book of Ruth. I said, well, why don't you stretch out a bit, be imaginative? And she was thinking about the Afghan immigrant community in Los Angeles. She had been reading about it. I thought, here we have exile, here we have family, we have loyalty, we have these stories that are universal. And what we're doing is trying to take these universal, timeless stories of struggle, loyalty, family, betrayal, faith, and make them modern, make them relevant, and make them breathe in a convincing way today. And I think I'm lucky to be sharing a suite with Ben, and he has been fabulous to talk to, and I have every faith that this is going to be an amazing performance. And one last thing I'd like to tell everyone, that this performance is in memory of David O. Schellinger. So please enjoy. You're about to hear something. This is a historical moment. This is the first time the composer himself, the librettist herself, will actually hear their own opera. And you are here with them in this room, and this is an historical moment. When an opera comes into being in any time of history, particularly now, it's something of a miracle. So enjoy.
One note, cell phones off and no photos during the